guys, today I'm going to talk to you about what I ate on Easter. We all know that the holidays can be a really bad trigger for eating poorly and feeling out of control with our food. So I just wanted to share my experience with eating on a major holiday as a recovered yo-yo dieter. If you're new to my channel, my name is Karen V, and I am here to turn your blues to hues by helping to transform you from a frustrated yo-yo dieter to an empowered woman leading a colorful and confident life. So yes, holidays can be a struggle with food. For a tiny bit of backstory, I struggled with food, body image, losing weight, food addiction, all that stuff for a very long time. I was always attempting to eat perfectly, whatever that meant. And whenever a major holiday was coming, my mind went to a bad place. I would tell myself that I know I'm going to eat bad on the holidays. It's kind of like I set myself up for failure. I was preparing to eat too much. So I had this in my head, and then for some strange reason, having that in my head made me start eating poorly a couple days prior to the major holiday. So it's like I was truly setting myself up for failure. I don't know why I did this. It's very hard to put into words, but sometimes I feel like I thought that one bad day of eating was going to screw up everything I had done previous that was good. So why not just eat bad for a couple of days? It makes absolutely no sense. But like, I think when you have food issues, a lot of things just don't make sense because it's not normal. The behaviors are not normal. As I was digging up these memories, I kind of started calling this pre-gaming in my own head. Like I was pre-gaming a couple days previous to the holiday. So, I didn't pre-game on every major holiday. Some days it was just the holiday itself. Whatever it was, I was just basically giving myself a head start on the poor eating or the poor mentality around eating around the holidays. Now, luckily, the heavy burden, guilt, shame, and all the negative feelings that went with my all or nothing diet mentality are now gone. I have worked hard to heal my relationship with myself and with food. So I wanted to share with you what my Easter looked like this year as a recovered yo-yo dieter. And again, the reason I'm making this video is to give you hope that you can change. Just because you're struggling now doesn't mean you're going to struggle forever, okay? I mean, I remember this is something I did when I was probably at my most troubled point. I had one of those little handheld tape recorders, and I remember recording myself wishing and saying into this voice recorder, I just want to be normal. I don't want food to be such a focus in my life anymore. And that tape recorder is somewhere in my basement. And one day when it appears, it's going to be pretty cool to find that tape, because I wished for that struggle to be gone, and it is gone, but it took a lot of work. Okay, so let's finally get into it. I'm sorry that intro was so long. So how did my Easter begin? It began as I would normally begin any day. I had a normal breakfast. It was just quicker. Like I usually take my time eating breakfast, but we were, kind of rushing around. We did Easter morning with the kids, and we were getting ready to go out. I started my morning off as I always do with drinking my Morning Complete, which is a green food probiotic supplement. It's a powder. I have a video on that as well. So I drank that in the morning, and then in the car on the way to my in-laws, I had a container of mush, which is overnight oats. I did previously talk about that in a video. And I had 2 slices of bacon. So I did eat it in the car, and that was that. And I was satisfied. That was normal for me. I had a balance of carbs, protein, and fat. I did not indulge in any of the kids' Easter candy that they got from the Easter Bunny. Sometimes, in the past I've done that, but, I didn't want it. I just didn't want it. And that's the thing. I went into Easter with a plan. I visualized in my head how I wanted Easter to go in terms of what I ate, okay? Now, I didn't know what was going to be served at all the celebrations I would be attending, but I visualized myself not eating candy unless I actually really wanted it in the moment. I planned to not just mindlessly eat, I planned to mindfully eat. I also made sure I brought my water bottle. This is the Hydro Jug, and this holds, there's a line that actually says 73 ounces, so it's more than a half a gallon. So I bring this everywhere I go. I brought this to Easter, and I did indeed drink this entire thing on Easter, which I'm so happy about. So we got to my in-laws and I realized I had not had my cup of coffee yet. So I went straight to their Keurig. I made myself a cup of coffee. They didn't have the sugar and the raw that I enjoy, so I just had some regular white table sugar and some half and half, and it was a really good cup of coffee that I enjoyed so much. So I really just enjoyed that coffee. Then we all did an Easter egg hunt, and they have a tradition where they have a golden egg, and it took forever for us to find the golden egg this year. Well, not us, for one person to find the golden egg. It's never me. I've never won in 12, 13 years, whatever it's been. So anyway, the meal was like a little bit delayed. Okay, so then the hunger was setting in. So eventually, lunch was served, and this was a feast. Let me tell you, my mother-in-law is a very good cook. She had this entire spread that I did not expect, because it's usually something smaller, but she made this really beautiful lunch. And so, okay, the old me that used to be very food addicted, okay, and I yo-yo dieted all the time because I had issues, I would have been the first to like sit down and eat. I would just be very focused on the food. And these days I am a little more focused on enjoying the day and not making it all about the food. So what I did when I saw all this food, I really just took inventory of what was there. And I said to myself, Karen, what do you really want? You don't have to eat everything just because it's there staring you in the face. You eat what you truly want. So I chose to have a shrimp skewer, a twice baked potato, which was absolutely my favorite part of the whole meal. It was delicious. You could tell there was a lot of butter and cheese in it, but I enjoyed it. I had some marinated mushrooms and a little salad on the side with some Italian type of dressing. So I had a plate of that, and I thought I was done, but then I was like, you know what? I could go for another shrimp skewer, maybe some more vegetables. So that's what I did, and then I stopped there. I was truly satiated, not full, just very like comfortably satiated. I loved the taste of the food. I made sure I was tasting it. I made sure that I ate rather slowly. I used to have an issue with eating very fast in the past. And still, I'm not like the slowest eater right now, but I have definitely slowed it down. So I just felt really good about what I chose, and I just didn't eat what I didn't really want. And I think that's the key. I think we all forget to really focus in on what we're doing and not just like shove food in our faces. You don't have to do that. If you're watching this video and you don't have any food issues, you're probably thinking this is a ridiculous video to make. But there are so many people that struggle with this sort of thing. It's a problem. I feel like those of us that are struggling need to identify what the problem is. Is it an emotional problem, or is it just that food can be addicting and that's just what it is? So, anyway, like I said, this video is for the person struggling with food around the holidays, because that's usually the hardest time. I think the second hardest time is weekends. I think everyone struggles with weekends, and that's probably another video topic. So after all the festivities at my in-laws, we then traveled an hour to my mom's house, where we were welcomed by another feast. The first thing I had was a glass of red wine. I hadn't had any wine yet that day, and I love wine. So it was actually like that $3 chuck, they call it, from Trader Joe's. And that stuff's okay usually, but like this glass was actually really, really good. So me and my sister-in-law, we enjoyed some red wine together. It was so good. I enjoyed it so much for some reason. It was just really good. And then it was time to eat again. And honestly, I wasn't hungry at all. And I really try not to eat when I'm not hungry, but I felt bad. So I did have a little bit of food. I had a slice of ham, and then I had a little bit of this like pasta that was made out of like veggies instead of wheat flour. I wish I could remember the packaging and who it was by, but it was like it came in a bag, and it was macaroni and cheese, but not real pasta. So I had a little bit of that, and that was all I had. My mom had some healthy stuff. She had veggies, she had sweet potatoes, she just had all this stuff, but I just wasn't hungry and I didn't want to force it. I just had like these two little things that were calling my name, and that was it. Okay, so I felt really good about that, because I also think a lot of people on holidays, they like fill their plates and they stuff their bellies with food because they don't want to be rude. But like, you don't have to do that to yourself. Like, just eat what you want to eat. It's that simple. People aren't paying attention to what's on your plate. You know, they're just not. They're not as much as you might think. And a little while later, dessert came out. She had 2 store-bought cakes. One was a crumb cake, one was an apple pie. And the crumb cake was, whoa, that got my attention. That brought me back to childhood. It kind of reminded me of those Entenmann's crumb cakes where it was like really crumbly and like, oh, it was just so good. But it was a different brand, but it looked just as good. So I cut myself a square and I took one bite and I said, okay, if you truly enjoy this bite, then finish it. But if you take a bite and it's just not good, it's not worth it, just put the fork down. So I took a bite and it was good. So I ate the whole square, and then there was like all these crumbs in like the dish. So I like scooped out the crumbs and onto my plate and I was eating the crumbs. I didn't overdo it. I just wanted some more crumbs and it was not a big deal. So I enjoyed the crumb cake. That was like my treat for the day. I loved it so much, but I stopped when I was satisfied. I could have gone back for like a whole nother piece. I could have kept going. I could have eaten the whole darn cake. But as I've learned how to assess and recognize how eating makes me feel in the moment, it brings about this level of self-discipline when it comes to eating. So I knew when to stop. And that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. And it takes time and it takes practice and it takes like slowing down in the moment. So eventually it was time to go home. The Easter festivities had concluded and I still had not had any Easter candy because I still didn't really want it. I had my crumb cake. That was my sugar for the day. But I kind of had a plan. I had a plan that I was going to enjoy my favorite chocolate Easter candy when I got home, when I was alone and able to like just savor it by myself. So that's exactly what I did. After the kids went down, I grabbed my favorite Easter candy that I love so much that in the past I have binged on. I'm telling you, I've had a problem with this, but this is the candy. It's the Cadbury mini eggs. These are my favorite chocolates. Okay, one of my favorite chocolates, but definitely my favorite on Easter. So I'm glad it came in a mini bag. We didn't get like a big bag. I sat on the couch under a blanket and I just ate these one by one and I enjoyed every single bite. I didn't even really need it. I didn't even want it that bad, but there was just something in me that was like, just enjoy some chocolate on Easter, you know, just do it. Why not? Have a moment. So I did. So that I got from my in-laws, and then they got me the Dove dark chocolates. I actually really like the milk chocolates, but I wanted to try dark because I thought the dark would be slightly healthier, but I don't even think it is. I think it's just a bunch of garbage anyway. So I had 1 serving of the dark chocolates. It's 4 pieces, so I had 2. So it's just a few hundred calories in chocolate, and I enjoyed it so much. I basically ate very mindfully. I tasted, I ate slow, I enjoyed in the moment, and that was it. So in the past, when my relationship with food was quite horrible, you know, when the holidays would come about, I would gain a little weight, and that's annoying, isn't it? You don't feel good, you're putting on a few pounds, it sucks. So, but I did decide to weigh myself Easter morning, and then I weighed myself the day after Easter. I was just curious because I didn't track any calories on Easter. I am a tracker. I like to track, but I have the feeling I am not going to track for the rest of my life. I'm an on and off tracker. Basically, that's what happens. I go through phases of tracking, and I've been tracking for a long time now because I'm doing it more for the purpose of learning, because I do want to help coach other people in the future on nutrition, whether it's just getting healthier or for weight loss purposes. So I track because I want to have all the knowledge, and I just want to know everything. Anyway, so I decided to weigh myself Easter morning, and I weighed myself the day after Easter just to see, like, how did my weight fluctuate, okay? Remember, you don't gain weight overnight. You don't gain fat overnight, okay? It's really just fluctuation. It's really what happens over a long period of time. What is your weight month to month? What is your weight 3 months from now? You know, if you're trying to lose weight or maintain, that's what you want to look at. So the funny thing is, I weighed the exact, to like the 10th of a pound, I weighed the exact same weight Easter morning and the day after Easter. So I was 142.0 both days. So that told me I did an excellent job with eating mindfully. I must have taken in a perfect number of calories for my body to maintain. I didn't eat anything that was too high in salt, because when you eat a lot of salt, you're retaining water, and then that shows up on the scale. I was really happy, but most importantly, I felt really good the day after Easter. Like when I woke up, I didn't feel like I had a rock in my stomach. I had no pains, no gas, no bloating. I felt good. So that was a success to me. If you have watched to this point in the video, thank you for sticking around. If you struggle with poor eating behaviors, the yo-yo diet struggle, all of that kind of stuff, I hope that my story of my past struggles with food on the holidays in conjunction with how today went gives you hope that you can get there too. I think what it really takes is connecting to your goals on a very deep level. A lot of people say they want to lose weight. A lot of people say they want to have a healthy relationship with food. And they say they just want to eat normally, but they're saying, and then there's feeling it, like really feeling it inside and meaning it and dedicating yourself to learning how to eat in a way that benefits your body. So if Easter did not go well for you, I don't want you to give up hope. There are plenty more holidays to come. So I know that sometimes holidays, the food is a trigger. So what I want you to do next time a major holiday rolls around, or even if it's just the weekend, I want you to have a plan. Okay, and it doesn't mean planning out exactly what you're going to eat. I want you to visualize how you want to feel and maybe visualize how you see yourself eating. Okay, so that would mean eating slowly. That would mean choosing foods that you just truly want to eat in the moment, and not worrying about being rude if somebody prepared all this food and you're not eating it. Like, just eat what you want to eat and it's fine, and stick to your guns. Don't let anyone pressure you to eat something that you don't want to eat. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss any future uploads from me. Share this video with anyone that you think would benefit from watching it. And if you guys ever have any ideas about something you'd like to see from me, a video topic, anything, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your ideas on anything that maybe I could provide for you that would be helpful. And I want to leave you with a final thought that I said a few times in this video, is that you can change. Just remember that. You can change. You're never stuck. It's about never giving up hope and knowing that you have the capability of learning and creating new habits and having an even better life than you already do now. Okay? Never give up on yourself. All right. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Hey, bro, 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 bro.
This is what the room really looks like before filming. A mess. Bro.
I'm a drink.
Maybe I should put these clothes away.
Hey. Sorry for that. That was just my indoor mechanic. Shake
what your mama gave you.
I'm gonna show you what they look like. And they look like these smoothies.
They're yum.
See? Yeah. They're very yum. Plus I love them.